He heard my prayer. Let me know you. Jehovah doesn't change. He's with us. I will never, ever leave Jehovah. Well, my name's Viney, and I arrived here almost 2 years ago, in April. And there was so much wildlife there, and bushes and grass, and the sun was shining, and I sat down on the little bank there, and I thought to myself how lovely everything was, and how we could be happy. And I said, but what's wrong? To myself, I said, but what's wrong? Why are people so bad? Just come through World War II, and Grandma was killed with one of Hitler's bombs, and I just said, what is wrong? Well, that was in 1963, and I was at a very low ebb. You don't get much lower than I was, and I didn't want to live anymore. And also I'd thrown myself back into my religion. I was brought up a Catholic, and I wasn't. I'd started, going back to church, and I got no satisfaction there at all. And in fact, I walked out of the church, and I thought, I'm never going to go there again. And that's just how I felt at the time. But then one day I got up, got the children off to school, and I just fell on my knees, and I said, is there a true God? If there is, please let me know you. I need to know you're there, otherwise I've got nothing. And as I got off my knees, I don't know why I acknowledge it, but I saw a piece of white paper be blown across my window. And then about a couple of minutes later, a knock came at my door, and it was Jehovah's Witnesses. And I didn't relate it to my prayer really, but anyway, she started talking to me, and she started showing me Matthew 24, and so I started to listen, and then she was telling me about what the future would be like. And I said to her, I believed it right away, because she was showing it from the Bible, and I said, I am so glad that's going to happen. I said, I won't be one who will be privileged to be there, but I'm glad it's going to happen. And she offered me a Bible study, and yes, I agreed. Yes. Later on, when we were discussing, things, and what had happened, it had been a circuit visit, and they were packing up. It was dinner lunchtime, and this sister was sorting what we had then in them days, the essay where you put all what's happened that morning. And as she was writing, it blew out of her hand, and the story was that it was a windy day, and she chased after it, and it blew against my gate, stopped and blew against my gate. And then they said, did we do this house? And she said, well, we don't know. Oh, well, let's do it. And so they did it, and that was my first contact. And I think this was the time when Jehovah was telling me what was wrong. Now, since then, every time I see one of the illustrations and the photo of an angel looking through a house window, nobody could ever convince me that the angel is not flying in mid-heaven. And I feel extremely privileged, and these are like little miracles. And I think, he heard my prayer, let me know you. Instantly, within minutes, Jehovah, let me know you. And I remember when I started studying, and it was the Paradise book then, the pink Paradise book that I was reading, and it was the Bible all the way through. And when it got to where they put Jesus on the stake and hammering nails in his hands, I put my book down and I broke my heart for something that was outside of me, not sorry for the fact of what was happening to Jesus and what Jesus did and what Jehovah and Jesus did for mankind. And the thought came into my mind then, I will never ever leave Jehovah. Well, what I like about living here is that you're quite out of the world. You're living in an environment of spirituality and genuine care. Well, the staff do their job well. They look after us, they listen to us, they're friendly, they've always got a smile on their face. It's just lovely. But I noticed as I started talking to two of the residents, and you know, they a lot of them are ill, some of them quite ill. But when it gets on to talking about spiritual things, they come to life. Their spirituality is there. So no matter how much memory they've lost, or how they, you know, are not really aware of things that are happening, they are so aware of Jehovah. You can talk spiritually. They come alive spiritually. And as I was talking to different ones, it just reminded me of the scripture in Romans. And it says, I am convinced that neither life nor death, nor things now here, nor things to come will ever separate us from the love that Jehovah has for us. And it just brought it home to me that they can lose the memory and but they never lose Jehovah. And it just proves to me where I am with you. And that is wherever any of us are who are Jehovah's servants, and when we get ill and our lives change, Jehovah doesn't change. He's with us. When he says, I am with you, I will keep hold of you with my right hand of righteousness. When I came here, that scripture was proved to me by seeing how the residents never lost their spirituality. But nevertheless, you're going to be looked after, you're going to be cared for spiritually, and you're going to be among friends. You won't be hearing swear words, you won't be having to put up with pagan celebrations, and you're amongst family. We are a family here. We are a family, and we all love one another, and the staff love us as well, and we love them. And this place has got something that money just can't buy.